Welcome to our class as we are going to study communication. We start by defining what communication is. So communication is the imparting or exchange of information by speaking, writing, or using some other medium. We can also define communication as the sending or receiving of information from one person to another. Then after we have looked at the definition of communication, we go to importance of communication. So the following are the importance of communication. Number 1, it helps in passing information. Number 2, it helps in expressing our views, feelings, or situations. It also helps in understanding a person or a situation. It also helps to enable one to resolve differences. It helps in problem solving. It helps in decision making, in giving feedback, in maintaining relationships, and in motivating people. Then we have process of communication. So communication starts from the sender. Then the sender has to call a message. After calling a message, he or she has to use a channel stroke a medium. Then we have receiver as our fourth process. Then we have a feedback. Then the feedback goes back to the sender. So that's the process of communication. Then after we have looked at the process of communication, we have elements of communication. The first element is the sender, and the sender is the person or entity initiating the message. Then we have message, which is the information, idea, or content being conveyed. We have encoding, which is the process of converting the message into a format suitable for transmission. We have a channel, which is the medium or method used to transmit the message. We have receiver, the individual or audience receiving the message. Then we have decoding, which is the process of interpreting and understanding the message by the receiver. We have feedback, which is the response or reaction from the receiver indicating whether the message was understood as intended. Then we have context, which is the situational or cultural factors that influence how the message is interpreted. Then after that, we have types of communication. We're going to look at the three. We start by one of them, which is formal stroke informal. Formal is the way of passing information in our workplaces and other formal environments, e.g. through emails, memos, minutes. And informal is an unstructured stroke unpredictable way of passing information. Then we have a second type, which is external stroke internal. Internal is the exchange of information between persons and departments of the same organization, while external is the exchange of information between an organization stroke office and an outside person stroke organization. Then we have interpersonal, is where communication is classified according to relationships, e.g. we have intrapersonal stroke personal, where an individual communicates her stroke his mind through thinking, feeling. Then we have essentials of effective communication. We are going to list them. We start with absence of noise. Then we have use of proper language. We have use of proper channel. We have information should be complete. Then we have conciseness, whereby you keep your message concise and to the point. Then we have clarity, whereby you should be ensure that your message is clear and easy to understand. Then we have active listening, which is paying close attention to what is being said. Then you have forms of communication. We are going to look at 6 of them. We start with number 1, which is written. And written is communicating through writing. Then we have forms of means of written, whereby we have letters, emails, reports, memos, and notes. Then another form of communication is verbal stroke oral, which is communication through word of mouth, e.g. face-to-face, telephone calls, interview, radio calls, discussion meetings, and etc. Then we have visual communication, which is communicating using the eye through illustrations and symbols. Then these illustrations and symbols can be charts, pictures, maps, tables, posters, and etc. Then we have audio communication, which is communication through sound. It can be horns, drums, whistles, and etc. Then we have the combination of the two, the combination of audio and visual, which is communication through sight and sound. We have like TV, video tapes, the digital videos, silence, and etc. Then we have non-verbal, which covers body language, e.g. body movements. You can communicate through eye contact, posture, distance, personal space, facial expression, gestures, and others. Then we have the factors to consider when choosing a medium-stroke means of communication. We have cost. You should consider how much the communication will cost. Then we have confidentiality, where messages can be read and interpreted by intended persons only. We have distance between the sender and the receiver. We have time, how long one is expected to give expected feedback. Then we have urgency. We have evidence, need of proof of transaction, reference. Then lastly we have saved. Then we have barriers to effective communication. Lack of clarity. We have noise, emotional barriers, language barrier, physical barriers, that is hearing and vision impairments. We have poor listening and technology issues. Now, after we have looked at the barriers of effective communication, now let us look at ways measures to overcome these barriers. Number 1, ensure that the message is clear and concise and use simple language. Minimize physical or environmental distractions to enhance the clarity of communication. Be aware of your emotions and the emotions of the other people and use empathy. Then we have use proper language and if possible use translation services, visual aids, or simplified language to facilitate understanding. Then use appropriate assistive devices or communication methods to people with hearing and vision impairments. Develop active listening by giving your full attention, asking clarifying questions, and avoiding interrupting. Then, if using technology for communication, ensure it is functioning correctly and provide technical support if needed. Then that marks the end of our topic today. Thank you for listening.